You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right, the U.S. economy added 916,000 jobs last month, according to the Labor Department's latest report. Unemployment has declined from 6.2% to 6% as the increase in payrolls climbed for the third straight month. The leisure and hospitality industries saw the most growth in jobs with an 18.5% increase, followed by government at 5.4%. Here's what President Joe Biden had to say about today's report.
Today's report also reminds us how deep a hole we started in. After a year of devastation, there are still 8.4 million fewer jobs today than there were last March. 8.4 million. We created 900,000 again, but 8.4 million jobs fewer today than last March. So too many Americans have been unemployed for longer than 6 months. Too many women have been forced out of the workforce. Unemployment among people of color remains far too high. Yes, we've made progress by starting to build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out. And yes, the American Rescue Plan is laying the foundation for that economy. But we still need the American Jobs Plan to build on that foundation, to build this country back better. So the bottom line is this. Today's report is good news. Today's report shows that the country can what it can do when we act together to fight a virus, to give working people the help they need. But we still have a long way to go. But I know that we're going to get there, and we're going to get there together. So may God bless you all, and may you have a happy Easter and a holy Easter. Thank you.
All right, joining us now is Dr. William Spriggs, economist, Howard University. Doc, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back on. Good to see you. Happy Easter.
Yes, sir. So break down the jobs report for us who have no idea what the hell the report ever says.
Well, the good side was, as the president said, we gained close to 1 million jobs. If we keep that pace, it will take us about another 9 months, as he mentioned, in order to get back to where we were in February. But then that ignores all the jobs we should have been creating over that period. So we have a long way to go. The bad news was the share of unemployed workers who've been unemployed more than 6 months has grown well over 40%. It's getting closer to the record it hit during the Great Recession. That's the scary number because it's hard to clear the long-term unemployed. They're a very diverse set of workers. They aren't all the same. In fact, the workers with the longest duration of unemployment right now are state and local government workers. The American Rescue Plan that President Biden pushed forward, got passed by Congress, gives a lot of money to state and local governments. They did add people back to the payroll this month, but we need them to add a lot more back to the payroll. We're still down over 1 million shy, 1.2 million shy of where state and local government was back in February. And despite really strong growth in restaurant hiring, we are still down in that industry as well. No set of industries are really back to where we were in February. There are some that are very close. Those that make paper products, think all those paper towels that people hoarded, chemicals, all of the hoarding that went on with disinfectants. So there's some areas, residential construction, specialty trades in residential construction. There are some areas where the economy has gotten back, but they're very few. So we still have a way to climb out of this.
What does it look like for black folks?
Well, here's the real tragedy, right? The job loss in the black community was not as severe back in the shock that we all had in last spring, but the job recovery for African Americans has been slower than for any other group. So in this report, black unemployment fell for adult men and adult women for all the right reasons: higher labor force participation, more people employed, fewer people unemployed, the share of people with the job going up. But at 9.6%, the unemployment rate for Black people is higher than the unemployment rate for high school dropouts. Any race, the unemployment rate for high school dropouts is 8.4%. The unemployment rate for Black people is 9.6%. So this has nothing to do with skills at all. This is really the way in which you see discrimination work. This is why when you have a huge shock to the labor market, the Black community suffers so badly, because the discrimination in hiring kicks up several notches. And that's what is making it hard to clear the long-term unemployment column for Black workers.
We talked about leisure and government jobs leading that way. Do we expect to see more of that? Airlines, I saw United Airlines hired back 300 pilots because of the vaccine. More folks will be back in the air. Today, the CDC also announced that people who have gotten their vaccine, they are also cleared to travel. That should also lead to a renewed focus on people traveling around the country, going to vacation spots, things along those lines.
Yes, and people are doing that, and that's a good thing. That's what we need to recover. All the people are complaining that this package, the rescue plan, following what happened in December, was too much. We shouldn't do it. Forget how much you have to put in people's pockets in this time of high uncertainty to get them to feel comfortable with that level of discretionary spending, right? I mean, it's not like buying an automobile. Going to Vegas or taking your kids to Disney is not buying something permanent. And we don't understand the psychology of how much money people need to feel secure that I can spend large amounts of money on discretionary things like that. But if we don't have that take place, then we're not going to see a full recovery. And this is a good sign that we're seeing people willing to go to Vegas, to go to Disneyland, to go to Universal City. All of this is a good sign.
All right. Dr. Will Spriggs, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy Easter again.
Yes, sir. Let's go to my panel. Let's go start with you, Michael Imhotep. And that is this here. If you're President Joe Biden, you feel real good. I mean, you talk about that $1.9 trillion COVID bill, announcing the infrastructure bill, 100 million COVID vaccines, and then, of course, this jobs report. Donald Trump kept talking about winning. Sounds like Biden is doing a hell of a lot of winning.
Well, you know, and President Joe Biden said today, I'm looking at the article from the Washington Post right now on the jobs report. President Joe Biden said today that the full impact of the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan has not kicked in yet. And it's important to note for all the Republicans that want to run their mouths, not a single traitorous Republican in the House of Representatives or the Senate voted for the American Rescue Plan. Okay, so we just have to keep that in mind. We're still down 8.4 million jobs from March 2020. So we see things starting to turn around, but you still need the infrastructure bill. Okay, Republicans want to say, well, we don't want to add to the debt. They didn't say that when they gave a $1.9 trillion tax break to the billionaire donors. They didn't say that then. But you still need the $2 trillion or maybe $2 trillion plus infrastructure bill. But, you know, this is a good sign. But I think what really we have to zoom in on is tackling this discrimination when it comes to hiring that disproportionately impacts African Americans. OK, that and then also the fact that the jobs lost due to coronavirus had a disproportionate impact on women, especially African American women. Okay, who already earn, African-American women already earn, I think it's about between 63 to 67 cents on the dollar, depending upon which year you're looking at. This is what Black Women's Equal Pay Day is about. So this is some positive news, but we still have to keep pushing forward.
Absolutely. Candace, when I talked about, again, the good news for Biden here, this is where we've been doing our Where's Our Money segment. This is where I'm trying to get people to understand how you have to connect the dots. And so I had some people sitting here like, well, I don't understand, you know, you guys sitting here making a whole big to-do about this, because it's real simple. And that is this here. You take, look, right now, I've got 15 employees. If if we get our fair share of media dollars for the likes of General Motors and other major companies, all of a sudden you're talking about I can literally go hire 25 to 50 more people. Now imagine these other black companies in other industries who now are getting fair share of dollars, not being frozen out of the pie as well. Look, this is how we grow. This is how we're able to employ our own, and we're not depending on government jobs, because as you saw with COVID, guess who got laid off first? They cut government jobs. We've been frozen out of the marketplace for so long, and so not only are we not getting the corporate jobs, we're also not getting our businesses funded, so then we're losing out. So to hear what Bill said, an African-American unemployment rate is higher than that of high school dropouts, that says a hell of a whole lot.
It certainly does. And it's one of those things that I'm sure we all have heard firsthand accounts of people, especially women, like Mike said, who are out of a job and they're trying to get back into the marketplace. And then all of a sudden they face this discrimination because they're starting from scratch. They've had jobs where they've already proven themselves, but now in order to get back, they're facing the types of people that we hear and see on TV when we talk about these quiet white supremacists who don't share who they are, of course, and are in the background making decisions about everything from housing to education to whether or not you get that job. So, what Bill said was very important, but that stuck out to me, like you said, that these discriminatory practices are in place. So people have to connect themselves with people and organizations that are looking out for people who are brown skinned like me, who are open to investing in people of color. And there are organizations that are out there, but people have to make the full throttle effort in order to connect with them, because not everybody does it. This is why we have the EEOC, because people don't do it. And we need a whole branch of the government in order to take care of those people who have civil rights violations against them. People have to play fair, but in order for you to get what you want, you have to go after those people who at least are interested in dealing with people like you. You always have to be in motion when you're a person of color in this country. And that's what people have to do to go on to the next step when it comes to jobs.
Xavier?
Last one hired, first one fired. The Economist did a really great job breaking it down. We know also that with public jobs returning, there's still 50% less likely for African-American women to get a public job than it is for a white man in a place that many African-Americans have had jobs before. You also have the situation where there's less access to capital for black small businesses. And so getting those businesses funded so that you can pay your workers so that those businesses can recover. Many of them have faced a significant shortfall. And so whereas there are different access to different public programs for private businesses to succeed and move past this. So we have to pay attention to the money. Show us the money.
All right, then. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have, you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it. Please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.